Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Crystal, and we're getting back into Baddies USA. This episode was called Bad Meets Wild, and it got wild for sure. So we pick up right where we left off with Tasiki sneaking Summer, which turned into chaos instantly. Okay. Summer's, bloodied up in a corner, but she's standing 10 toes down. She said, F you. And I still believe Kashawn. Simple, And honestly, I never liked Summer, from the start. And then on top of me not liking her, she made those insensitive comments. However, I can call a spade, okay? I don't think she was wrong. I feel a lot of people feel the same way. And, she's just bold enough to say it to her face. But with that, you have to take the consequence. Not everybody wants your 2 cents. It's like it's a two-edged sword, honestly. So, Tasiki and Tommy start going back and forth. And honestly, it's just exhausting. So they take us outside, and they got Dolly outside decking wrecking this bitch, okay, with Killer Ho and Tavy. So, Killer really ain't feeling all the apologies for real. You know, she sees they little trio falling apart, and, she trying to make amends. And, Dolly calls it growth. Like, girl, bye, it's not growth. You was weird as hell last season. This season, you copping, please. You understand? Like, no, keep that weird energy over there. So, in the midst of them talking, Coke Killer's little spidey senses start going off, and she turns around, and here comes Tinkerbella squaring up again. Like, this beat is going to go on for a very long time, I fear. Okay, child. So we get Smiley, coming back in from the doctors. And, this confessional look, it's definitely giving 6ix9ine, or you damn stupid, or damn, ha! Like, so she comes back and says she don't want no smoke. Like, girl, everybody's giving you the side eye, okay? So, Taseki tells Tommy she needs Krishan to apologize for all the allegations that was made against her, okay? And at first in this moment, like her sitting on the grass, I keyed because it sort of looked like Tommy was, like a preschool teacher, like calming down one of her students. But honestly, thank you, Tommy, for getting down to that level, getting down to her level and meeting Tasiki where she was at in that moment. It honestly reminded me of Ayanla, Fix My Life. In that moment, grounding her with the earth, bringing her down, hearing her needs. Sometimes as women, that's truly all we need. So, Tommy lets Krishan knows, Taseki needs to talk with you. Y'all need to talk. So, Krishan and Taseki, they finally, Taseki, excuse me, they finally talk, and we get absolutely nowhere. It was sort of like they were talking in code, the whispering, the be more accents. It was too much and not enough at the same time. So Natalie gathers, all the baddies to let them know, Miss Daisy Dukes is coming. And Roly Poly is ready to go. Okay, TTG, she's ready to go. So Anna drops T, that Daisy was popping it about her and DTB over Baddies Africa. So she said, she needs that too. She's going to jump in. Now, as Daisy's making her interest, of course Anna's trolling. But Daisy, directs her attention to Miss Rowley. Like, so, Rowley tells Daisy, to make it count because you only getting one and done, okay? And y'all, when I tell you Daisy was working Rowley with that one arm, okay, you can't tell me, okay, Miss Things hits was not hard, okay? She was mopping, bopping, whopping, okay? And what the security said in Baddies Going Wild, they call her cinder blocks. Yeah, it's definitely giving cinder blocks, baby. No shade. And while, Daisy's macking it with Rolly, Anna sneaks her from behind. She hit her a good 3 times. Then, Lex comes in for the save again. And you know what? Shout out to Zeus for that speed playback option. Hello? Now that's TV. Hello? So Daisy starts popping it, and she runs up on Rolly again. And of course, Anna jumps in it again. So I think Daisy realized, in that fight that somebody had hit her, somebody had jumped in, so she started asking, like, who jumped in, y'all? And the first person to answer is Summer, okay? Talk about Anna. Now handle that. Like, girl, I hollered so loud. So Rolly and Daisy, they still popping it back and forth. And Rolly starts showing off her body, okay? And this is the exact face that I made because, ew. So when Daisy stood like this with her knees tore up, trying to imitate Rolly, I was so weak, y'all. I mean, to the ground, because she could not do nothing with them legs, child. Even if she wanted to. Like, me and Tommy, we was keying at that, okay? And let me say this, I like Anna. However, I wish Daisy would have tore your little tail every which way but loose, okay? Y'all lose brownie points for sneaking. Like, it's not respected. I can't respect it, When you could have got that hit up with Daisy, like, simple. Like, she would not have ducked that, And I hope Daisy gets you at that reunion, too. No shade. So Natalie lets the ladies know, they have bigger and better things to do. This needs to stop. So, all the ladies, they go into the house, and Summer and Mariah Lynn start going back and forth. And y'all, Summer took it for me this episode, okay? With all her little get backs and her little reads, okay? When she said, get that bitch a makeup wipe. And I cannot lie because Mariah Lynn, that skin. Girl, she was coming. That makeup was caked up, okay? And then she going to tell her, that's why your mama got beat up by your friend. Clock it. Like, girl, Summer is growing on me, and I don't know how to feel about it, y'all. So the ladies hit out, for rehearsals. And while they're on the sprinters, Tavy and Fauna start going back and forth. Because she says she feels bad for Summer, and is it me, or is this the same issue, that Tavy had with LCK, or am I tripping? Let me know in the comments below. So, on the next sprinter, they're talking about the demise of the big three, okay? And Suki clocks it for real, she says, Summer feels a way that they did not ride for her, when she was getting into it with Tasiki. But Summer did say, that they didn't have to get involved, because they expressed they did not agree with Summer. But they was jumping, for no reason all last season. And sister, I'm with you when you're right. So the conversation then switches over to Rolly. And, they're asking her about Daisy, and Summer, and, Rolly points out to Summer, like, yeah, I peep game, that you was on Daisy's side, and she starts comparing Summer to Lex, okay? And she was reading Summer ever so politely, okay? And Summer's in a confessional, talk about shut your ass up, shut your fat ass up, okay? Like, Summer, don't pop it behind the scenes and not pop it to Rolly, okay? And when Rolly said, look how you treat your friends, and Summer said, look how you treat yours, girl, I said, ooh wee. Call me Kilo Sway, ooh wee, okay? Because she, like I said, Summer is reading the girls down every episode, no shade. Summer lets, Rolly know she still respects her and respects her opinion at the end of the day. So, girl, out of nowhere, Summer and Lex start, having a little 1-2 back and forth. And Dolly attacks Summer. Like, I don't know what was said. I didn't catch it, y'all. But she says, like, you're not going to disrespect me. Like, Dolly says, she's not going to be disrespected. I didn't catch what was said, y'all. Let me know down in the comments what was said. So we finally get to the rehearsals, okay? And Tanisha pulls up with her security guard, thank you, and then we get to see the OGs pulling up, and all of them looked really good. They all look good. I don't care what nobody says, okay? OGs, they all look good. And Miss Bree says, I got Low London, but Miss Kitty Cat, I'm coming for you. So then Bobby Lights pulls up to the function, okay? And Tommy was not here for it. Baby, this face took me out. And for once, all the ladies were having a great time, y'all. They dancing, they keying with each other, they vibing, they turning up. Like, I love to see it. So they got DJ Sky back in the booth. And I'm glad they're having rehearsals because the last season she was on that she was DJing went terrible. So, hopefully everything runs smoothly this season. So Natalie arrives, to the function in her custom Maybach that I absolutely love. Like, this custom Maybach is everything, y'all. And, as she makes her entrance, Bobby Lice introduces / announces, Natalie as the Baddie CEO. Like, girl, okay, yes, ma'am, I see you, Miss Nine, okay? So Natalie, she enters and she lets all the women know that they will no longer be doing hostings and that they're actually going to rent out the entire venue and have like a real baddie party. And she also lets everyone know, she wants Bobby and Tanisha to be MCs with her, which I think is a great idea. And hopefully that works out. We'll see. She then, lets everyone know, those who don't have a Baddies chain, she wants to give them one. So they'll be unified. And her first chain goes to Krishan. And, of course, Krishan cried. The second chain went to Gretchen, okay, which I'm really not here for, but okay, girl, aka Mommy G. And then her third chain went to Smiley. Like, girl, I don't know. To me, Smiley is Joanne the scammer, okay? Like, her having that little, I don't know about Smiley, y'all. And the fourth chain, we get, she gave to Cold Killer, which is well and beyond deserved, okay? Because Cold Killer stood her ground last season, okay? And she's still standing her ground this season, and I fuck with her. So, period. Shout out to you, Pookie. She then lets the OGs know, that she made custom chains for them. And, girl, here goes Summer, just grouchy and hating, okay? Summer is definitely the lead of the Grudge sisters from the Proud family. That is literally what I see when I look at Summer, okay? So Persuasion hears Summer, popping it and talking under her breath. And I don't know what Persuasion said, okay? But it was to the point Summer heard it. So Summer walks up on Persuasion. And next thing you know, Persuasion, she starts working Summer out like she trying to lose 30 pounds in a week, y'all. I mean, tearing through her, okay? And that's where we left off with this episode. It definitely was entertaining. Let me know in the comments who y'all think won between Rolly and Daisy. For me, Daisy took home the win. Make sure y'all leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It's free, y'all. No shade. And I will see y'all in the next one. Mwah. No bars.